Well, at the beginning, Al said that some of the adventures were almost sedentary, and I thought that must be me he was talking about. But then I realized, of course, no, because my adventures are taken lying down. There should be a picture up there, shouldn't there, Al? Is it? Oh, my goodness. Right. Well, we've learnt this evening that adventure is very tiring, very unpleasant, and also extremely expensive. It doesn't have to be that way. I found a form of fun which has all the discomfort and nastiness of real adventure, but only costs £50. Here is a 2-night bivvy bag expedition to the Isle of Skye. Then again, here is me on the summit of Ben Ledi. I thought that the strange greyness around me was an optical effect, the moonlight shining through the cloud. It wasn't. That's me trying to eat breakfast on the summit of Ben Ledi through the smallest possible opening in the zip of the bivvy bag. Right, here's some technicalities. A comfortable grassy dip out of the wind, but with just enough to send a cool breeze over your face. But most importantly, Ullswater in just the right place, northeast, to catch the sunrise. The next hill is, gosh, 20 seconds is a long time. This is Stobgower, north of Rannoch Moor. It's a rather rounded ridge which doesn't have very good shelter from the wind, but look at the view of Cruachan in the distance. Those granite boulders aren't just to dry your socks on. When the cloud came in the night and drizzle started arriving sideways at 20 miles an hour, I simply wriggled in among the boulders and went back to sleep. This is Beniglow above Blair Athol. Just as I was crossing the summit, it started raining. But just when it's starting to rain, it's just the time to get into the bivvy bag. It's much nastier when it's been raining for a while and everything's wet. Overnight, it cleared, which meant that it got very cold. You see the frost on the rucksack cover there. I turned the water bottles upside down so that any ice that formed would form in the bottom of them. Cunning. That's the technical bit. This is an even colder night above Rannoch Moor. That's Schiehallion sticking up in the distance at dawn. I was lying there in the bivvy bag watching the frost crystals forming on the grass in front of my eyes, twinkling in the moonlight. I took my boots and my water bottles to bed with me that night. After all, if your water bottles freeze up on Everest, you die, don't you? Right, now we've got an 11-day trip right across Scotland from one side to the other, which I think is the third across Scotland trip in this evening so far. The first night out, lovely grassy dips, little crags to shelter behind, but best of all was the view out towards the Isle of Egg. We spent about an hour looking for the ideal site which would combine all three of these features. I was supposed to dry out in Glenfinnan the following night, but I hadn't got wet, so I went up onto another hill. This is Skirnan Corriachan above Glenfinnan, and that is the sunset shining on Knoidet, and in the great distance there is Ben Wyvis, which is somewhere up by Inverness, 85 miles away. Bonnie Prince Charlie slept out on this particular hill, and he had the right idea. This little groove beside the summit was just right for the view out to the island of Rum. It was unfortunately just wrong for the wind, which was going right along it. But by putting my boots into my rucksack, I made just enough of a windbreak to keep myself warm through the night. Zipped up in a tent, you miss this kind of thing. This is the Isle of Rum at 10 o'clock at night. I had to wake up specially in order to take its picture, but that's no problem. You don't sleep all that solidly in a bivvy bag. The next picture shows the same scene at dawn, and to get the real feel of it, you should take your clothes off and run around outside for a minute or two. Dawn at 3,000 feet is jolly cold. I was enjoying the atmosphere up there and the surroundings, but I wasn't enjoying fiddling around with the tripod in order to take this picture. This is the picture I'm expecting it to be, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Yes, Sea of Cloud. The next picture was taken on the third day of my walk and shows you everywhere that I've been to so far in the background. I started at the far end of Loch Shiel, which is in the left-hand side of the picture. I've given you a wee map if you can see it, but I've also put all these pictures with captions for them on my website. So if you want to know where something is, you just have to remember my name long enough to get home and Google it, and you'll find out where the pictures were taken. The next night, the third night, I spent on a lovely soft peaty hill above the Great Glen. You actually saw it in one of the pictures earlier on in the background of Ben Nevis. It was so comfortable that I almost missed this wonderful dawn view of the great north face of Ben Nevis. Is that what you're seeing up there? Yeah, it's still there. Good. Yeah, on my fifth night, I crossed. That is the fifth night. Yeah. Gosh, you really can't. What's that light there, isn't it? That wasn't on when I looked at it before. I crossed Craig Meggie. It still wasn't raining, but it was another of these flat, rounded ridges which doesn't have any shelter from the wind and a bit stony, which was good because that kept me awake enough to see the stag on the spur below me, silhouetted against the moonlit waters of Loch Lagan. The seventh night, and it still wasn't raining, it was snowing. It would have been jolly good fun to bivvy down behind this boulder here and duck down every time the spray from the lake came over my head. But actually, the Fords of Arn refuge was quite squalid and sordid enough to count as adventure in its own right. Having admitted to sleeping in a shed, this picture shows a lot of what I do is so much fun that it doesn't count as adventure at all. A good weather forecast, a big cream tea in Grasmere, and up onto the ridge of Helvellyn for a cosy night out. This picture is the Pembrokeshire coast. I walked for about 5 days along that coast, living off the land to save weight in the rucksack. By living off the land, I mean bar meals, local shops, and ice creams. You can lie out there looking up at the stars, and you can actually feel the earth rotating underneath the sky. This is on Great Gable, which is a place down in England. That's Wastwater and Westmorland's Crag of Great Gable. If you can find the spot, it's actually a very comfortable grassy place to be. But it's already gone, so you just have to revive it in your memory and wish that we were all up there right now instead of here where we are. That's it.